Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It just depends on when you come across this video. My name is Kent. I am with SDG Replays, and I have recently took a departure from my Pocket Pennant Run league play and put out a couple games from PC Replay Baseball from the 1956 Major League Baseball season. And now I'm returning back to Pocket Pennant Run. I just needed a break, and I thought I needed to give the PC Replay game system a little love since I'm using it regularly to record and keep the stats for my Pocket Pennant Run league. So I needed to give some love to the PC Replay game. Wonderful game, and I really love the way it plays just in itself when you play just using its system, but it's also a great way to keep stats and to keep up with your league when you play. You do, however, have to buy the seasons included, and so that's how I formed this league, by knowing that I had the seasons represented, and so that's where we're at. In this league. We're 10 games in to my 28-game season with 8 different teams. So today's matchup is going to find the 1934 St. Louis Cardinals, who were called the Gas House Gang, at the 1956 Brooklyn Dodgers. The St. Louis team is currently at 5-5 after 10 games, and they lost their last games. They're losers of 1. The Brooklyn Dodgers are 6-4 at the 10-game mark, and they're winners of 1. So it's going to be a good matchup of a 6-4 team against a 5-5 team. Most of these teams are evenly matched up. There's not a great disparity. I think the only team that is really struggling is the 23 Hilldale Club that's at 2-8, and interestingly enough, the New York Yankees of 1956 are struggling as well. I believe they're at 3-7. It's either 3-7 or 4-6. And there is Piper. On the mound today for the St. Louis Cardinals, the Gas House Gang, will be Paul Dean. Paul Dean is a right-hander. He has a 1-0 record with a 4.2 ERA and a .93 whip. So not getting much run support. And you hear my other dog, Anchovy, in the background. I just gave them baths, and they seem to be have extra energy after baths. So you'll just have to excuse their excitement and enthusiasm. On the mound for the Brooklyn Dodgers is going to be Carl Erskine. He's a right-hander as well. His record is 1-1 with a 4.97 ERA, almost 5 runs a game, with a 1.5 whip. And this game will be played from Ebbetts Field in Brooklyn. So it's the 5-5 1934 St. Louis Cardinals against the 6-4 1956 Brooklyn Dodgers. I hope you will enjoy the game. While you're at it, if you're here and you enjoy the game, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll get notifications whenever I drop a new video. I hope you have a blessed day. Soli Deo Glory. Welcome to Ebbetts Field in Brooklyn, New York, as we pick up this game in this 28-game season. Game number 11 of 28, and today's game will find the St. Louis Cardinals visiting Ebbetts Field against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Let's go ahead and take a look at our lineups. Again, we have on the mound Paul Dean and for the Cardinals, and Carl Erskine for the Brooklyn Dodgers. So for the St. Louis Cardinals, leading off and playing third base will be Pepper Martin. In the second spot will be Jack Rothrock playing right field. In the third position will be Frankie Frisch playing second base. Batting fourth in cleanup, Joe Medwick in left field. Batting fifth at first base, Ripper Collins. Batting sixth in center field, Kiddo Davis. Batting seventh in playing short, Leo DeRocher. Batting eighth, and your catcher is Bill Delancey. And again, Paul Dean, batting ninth and pitching. For the 1956 Brooklyn Dodgers, leading off and playing second base, Jim Gillum. Batting in the second spot is shortstop, Pee Wee Reese. Batting in the third spot, center fielder, Duke Snyder. Batting in the fourth spot in cleanup is your catcher, Roy Campanella. Batting in the fifth spot, first baseman, Gil Hodges. Batting in the not the third spot, he's the third baseman. He's in the sixth spot is Jackie Robinson. Batting in the seventh spot, left fielder, Sandy Amoros. Batting in the eighth spot is right fielder, Carl Furillo. And your pitcher for this game is Carl Erskine. And that's our lineups. Let's get into the game as we play this game of Pocket Pennant Run. I'll give the batter's ratings the first time through the lineup, and then the rest of the way it's going to be as I call. So on the mound for the Brooklyn Dodgers is Carl Erskine. Erskine's ratings are he can go 6 innings. He's a C-rated pitcher with B control and C defense. Facing off against Pepper Martin. Pepper Martin leading off. The righty-righty matchup, his B rating will drop to a C with B power and A defense. And I need to go ahead and change your scene. I almost forgot to do that, and that would have been a big mistake. Let's go ahead and trans scene. So you can see the dice roller and the cards, so we can know what's going on here. So leading off is Pepper Martin. Again, he will be a C-rated batter with B power and A speed. Here's the pitch to Martin. That will go to the batter's card. Martin, that's C11, will be to his power column. Excuse me, I'm getting things backwards there. It's been a while since I played, so that's C4. It will be just a ground ball to third. Robinson up with it, fires it over to first for out number 1 as Gil Hodges squeezes it. And Pepper Martin goes back to the dugout. Let's go bring up Jack Rothrock. Rothrock against Erskine. He's a switch hitter, so he will remain a B batter with B power and A speed. Rothrock stepping into the batter's box as Erskine gets the signal from Campanella, shakes him off a couple times, gets the nod of agreement and the pitch. That C2 is a control check on Erskine. His control, if I remember correctly, is a B, so better control than some, but it still will walk Rothrock as Rothrock gets a free pass. He trots down to first base with a 1-out walk, and we have a runner on now. And Rothrock with good speed, A speed, as Erskine goes into the windup. Rothrock breaks for second, and he is safe. He slides in easily. That roll of 11, you know, that's an easy call. With an A rating, anything 3 and up is safe. So he steals the base easily. Campanella misses him by a mile. So runner now in scoring position as the small ball is getting played, and Frankie Frisch steps up to the plate. I believe in 1934, Frankie Frisch was a player manager for the St. Louis club. So Frisch steps up, again a switch hitter. He will remain a B-rated batter with B power and A speed. So a lot of speed on the base pass for the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's the pitch. And again, that goes to the batter's card. That's grounded to short. Rothrock tries to beat the throw from Reese over to Robinson, but he does not, and they get the force out at third with a 6-5 put out. And this poor base running by Rothrock, who probably should have stayed on second, but that gets the lead runner. So now it's just a man on first with 2 outs, and Joe Medwick coming to the plate. Medwick is an A-rated batter usually, but against the righty Erskine, it will drop to a B. He does have A power and C speed. Frisch takes a slight lead, and with 2 outs, he will not be stilling. Here is the pitch. And again, it goes to the batter card. That high roll of 11 is an obvious batter card. And with Medwick in the B column, that B8 is a single into left field hit to Amoros. Amoros in with it quickly, holds Frisch to second. So that's a single, first actual hit of the game, as we now have runners on first and second. 2 outs, and Ripper Collins coming to the plate. Collins, again, a switch hitter. A lot of switch hitters in this lineup. He's an A-rated batter with A power and C speed. So Collins is a threat as Erskine toes the rubber, glances over at Frisch to keep him closer to the bag, but they will be running on contact as there's 2 outs. And here is the pitch. And it goes, again, Ripper Collins, that roll of 11 goes to his card. That A10 is in his power column, and he's A power, and that's a double clearing the bases. So he rattles one around in the right field corner, and we have 2 runs across now on a 2 RBI scoring double for Ripper Collins. And our score here in the top of the first is 2-0 St. Louis, as they've been swinging the bat well against Erskine. Kiddo Davis comes to the plate after giving Ripper Collins a high 5. And our score is 2-0 as Erskine toes the rubber, tosses down the rosin bag, and goes into his windup. Davis stepping in. Davis, Kiddo Davis, will be a D-rated batter with C power. So not a very good stick for Davis, but he'll swing away as Collins will run on contact. This time, it's a defensive check on the center fielder, Snyder. Snyder's defense, it's not going to matter because that roll of 12, it's going to be an error. But his defense is a B. But on the defensive check, it's going to be an E, 1 base. It's going to be a 1 base error on the center fielder. So Snyder commits the error in center field. He kind of boots it, allowing Davis to reach and moving Collins over to third. So with 2 outs, we have runners on the corners, and Leo DeRocher stepping to the plate. DeRocher against the righty Erskine will be D-rated with C power and C speed. So runners on the corner. Here's the pitch to DeRocher. And again, it's going to go to Leo DeRocher's card. but that's just a fly ball hit into center field. Can Snyder redeem himself from that error? He does settle underneath it easily as he just takes a couple strides over, settles underneath it for out number 3, but not after 2 runs come across, but two runners left stranded as we go to the bottom of the first with our score 2-0, St. Louis. And for the Brooklyn Dodgers, Jim Gillum coming to the plate. Pitching for the Cardinals will be Paul Dean. Paul Dean can go 6 innings. He's an A-rated pitcher with A control, and he's a D defensive player. So tough sledding for Brooklyn as the A-rated pitcher comes to the plate. Gillum is a switch hitter. He will be an A-rated batter with C power and A speed. So an A-on-A matchup as Gillum steps in. Dean goes into the windup and the pitch. And it will go to the batter's card. Gillum again, A-rated. That A10 is his power column. But he gets one to hit, but he can't do anything with it as he gets a little too much underneath it, lifts it high and deep into left field. Joe Medwick back to the warning track, but not deep enough as it is a long F7 putout for out number 1. As Gillum gave it a ride, but not deep enough, as not enough power for Gillum. As he just took him to the wall, but not deep enough for out number 1. Dean doesn't want to leave him hanging like that often, though. It's going to be bad news for him. Pee Wee Reese coming to the plate. Reese, the right-hander, right batting Reese will be rated D against Dean with C power and A speed. So Dean into the windup and the pitch. Will be a control check on Dean. That A10 control. He will walk him. Reese gets a free pass as Dean tried to paint the corners and didn't get a favorable call from the ump. And it is a runner on with 1 out as Pee Wee Reese is on the base pass. And the speedy Reese, as Dean goes into the windup, breaks for second. And he has A speed. That as I said earlier, anything 3 and up, he's safe. So Reese slides in safely for a stolen base, and now we have a runner in scoring position with only 1 out, and Paul Dean looking at Duke Snyder stepping to the plate. Snyder, the lefty, will remain a B-rated batter with A power and B speed. Snyder digging in. Reese taking a slight lead off second. Here's a pitch from Dean. And he strikes him out. That roll of 3 on an A is a control check. And I know an A2 is a strikeout swinging. Anything from 1 to 8 is an automatic strikeout. A 9 is a called strike but dropped ball. So that's an easy call of a strikeout as Snyder goes down swinging as he got fooled with the breaking ball for out number 2 and the first strikeout recorded of the game. And that'll bring up catcher Roy Campanella. Campanella is a D-rated batter against the right-hander Dean with C power and C speed. Campanella steps in. Dean with the pitch. And he strikes him out. That roll of 1. He blew 1 by him. Campanella didn't even get the bat off his shoulder for out number 3. And we go to the second with a score 2-0, St. Louis. And Bill Delancey stepping to the plate. Delancey, the left batting Delancey, will keep his B rating and A power. He does have D speed. He's running in mud, as a lot of catchers do, as Bill Delancey steps in. Erskine into the windup, into pitch. And Delancey will get to swing away. And that B7 is a ground ball hit to first base. Hodges up with it as it moves him over to the second base bag. Erskine sprints over to first. A little flip to Erskine for the 3-1 put out. And out number 1. Now to bring up the pitcher, Paul Dean. Dean stepping in, derated against Erskine. Here is the pitch from Erskine. That's a line drive hit to first. Hodges is able to make the play easily. Is not a hot line drive. It's hit hard enough, but Hodges makes the play easily for out number 2. Now to bring up Pepper Martin. And let's just take a look at what Pepper Martin did his first time up. He grounded out to third. Looking to get on the base path this time with 2 outs. See if they can get something going here in the second. Martin steps in. Again, Martin hitting from the C batter rating. And it goes to Martin's card. C8 is another ground ball to Hodges. This time Hodges waves off Erskine and just steps on the bag himself for the 3 unassisted and out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the second with St. Louis still up 2-0. And Gil Hodges stepping to the plate. Hodges will be a C-rated batter with A power against the right-hander Dean. As Dean stares down Hodges, he goes into his windup, and the delivery. And Hodges takes that offering and hits it into left field, drops it in front of Medwick for a leadoff single for Gil Hodges. So a runner on with no outs. Hodges with B-rated speed will make the break for second as Dean goes into the windup. Anything 5 and up, and he is safe. And he is. Hodges slides in safely for a stolen base for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And again, we have a runner in scoring position with no outs, and Jackie Robinson stepping to the plate. Robinson will be a C-rated batter against the right-hander with C power and A speed. Gil Hodges takes a slight lead as Jackie Robinson looks to get a run in. Here's the pitch. That's a defensive check on the shortstop, DeRocher. DeRocher's rating is a C rating. That's C5. As a ground ball that will move Hodges over. The only play he has is to first, as Hodges broke well on the hit ball. So DeRocher fires it over to Collins for the putout, but now with 1 out, runner 90 feet away from the first score for the Dodgers as Sandy Almiroz steps to the plate. Almiroz so far in this season has swung the bat pretty well. He was a little cold his last game, but he's still batting .296, almost .300, with 5 home runs and 8 RBIs in 10 games. So Almiroz swinging a pretty hot bat. And Almiroz, as a lefty, will be B-rated, excuse me, batter with A power and B speed. So Almiroz stepping in. Dean with the pitch. And he strikes him out. Almiroz let that one just blow right by him as he put the gas by him. That'll bring up Carl Furillo. Furillo, the right-hander, will be C-rated with B power and C speed. So 2 outs now, and Hodges on third, hoping to be driven in by Furillo. Furillo steps up Here is the pitch from Dean. This time, it's going to be a defensive check on the center fielder, Kiddo Davis, whose defense is a C. He breaks well on the fly ball, lifted into center field, settles underneath it for an easy can of corn F8 putout in center field for the third out, and a runner left stranded 90 feet away, but they couldn't get him across as we go to the third with St. Louis still up 2-0, and Jack Rothrock stepping to the plate. Again, Rothrock swings a heavy stick. He's a switch hitter and a B batter. His last time up, he reached on a walk. So he's hoping to get something to swing at this time as Erskine toes the rubber and brings the pitch. It's going to be a decent defensive check on the right fielder, Furillo. And Furillo, B-rated defender, that B9, he will make the play as it's just lifted high into right field. Furillo settles underneath it for out number one on the deep fly out by Rothrock as he pulled that one into right field. Now to bring up Frankie Frisch. Frisch, his first time up, grounded out to short. Frisch steps in. Batting from the B rating, Erskine into the windup and the pitch. Defensive check on the second baseman, Gillum. Gillum, B-rated defense, catches the odd hopping ground ball, fires it over to Hodges for out number two. I'll bring up Joe Medwick. Medwick on the day singled his first time up. Can he keep the hit streak going? Is it really a streak when you've only had one at bat? I guess not. Maybe we can call it after this swing of the bat. Medwick batting from the B rating. Here is the pitch. And he will get to swing away. He grounds it sharply to third. Jackie Robinson on the hot corner makes the play easily, fires it over to Hodges for the 5-3 putout and out number three. And we go to the bottom of the third with our score still 2-0 St. Louis. And pitcher Carl Erskine stepping to the plate. Dean, looking at his counterpart with a 2-run lead, brings the heat to Erskine. And Erskine, what is he going to do with it? Man, if he wasn't an A-rated pitcher, that would have been trouble. Hello? Okay, I'll let them know. All right, we'll do. Bye. Sorry for the interruption. A little family matter. So Carl Erskine stepping to the plate. Looking to get things going here for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He got one he thought he could hit, but that A8 on a that will be the batter's card. A D11 for a batter is a single by Erskine. Erskine, if he would have been anyone else other than the pitcher, that would have been a home run with that roll of 11. But since he's D-rated, Erskine just takes that one drops it in front of Medwick in left field for a leadoff single by the pitcher. Did a good job of hitting there. And that'll bring up Jim Gillum back up to the plate. Gillum, his first time up, flew out to left field. Gillum, A-rated batter against A-rated pitcher. Here comes the pitch, and he strikes him out. Gillum goes down swinging. He walks back to the dugout with his head hung low, wagging to and fro. And that'll bring up Pee Wee Reese. Reese, on the day, reached on a walk his last time up. Can he move Erskine over as Reese steps to the plate, digs in, batting from the D rating. Here's a pitch to Reese. And he strikes out Reese. Reese goes down. Blew another one by him. The fastball getting by the Dodgers as they can't keep up with it for out number 2. And that'll bring up Duke Snyder. It's almost like Paul Dean, a little ticked off that the pitcher got a hit on him. As Duke Snyder steps in, batting from the B rating. Snyder, on the day, struck out his last time up. Dean into the windup and the delivery, and he strikes him out. 3 in a row after the hit by Erskine, and Dean retires the rest of the side with 3 strikeouts in a row. And we go to the 4th with our game still 2, St. Louis, Brooklyn, nothing. And Ripper Collins coming to the plate. And what did Ripper Collins do his last time up? He just doubled, driving in 2 runs to account for the 2 runs that we see on the board this morning. Ripper Collins, again, A-rated batter with A power. Erskine, C-rated pitcher. Again, Erskine can go 6 innings. He's got a couple more innings left in him before he goes to a D. And one of my homebrew rules is when a pitcher reaches a D rating, he is yanked. I'm not going to keep D-rated pitchers in the game. Ripper Collins steps in. C on A. That C8 goes to the batter's card. That A3. He hits the ball high and deep into left field, but Amoros back to the warning track, settles underneath it for the F7 put out. And out number 1. Now to bring up Kiddo Davis. Hey, Kiddo. And he will be batting from the D rating against Erskine. Kiddo, his first time up, reached on an error in center field. Here's the pitch to Davis. Ground ball hit to Gillum at second. Gillum up with it over to first for the 4-3 put out. And out number 2. And I'll bring up Leo DeRocher, batting from the D rating. DeRocher, his first time up, flew out to center field. C on D matchup as Erskine goes into the windup. There's another ground ball to Gillum. Gillum up with it. Makes the play easily over to first for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 4th with our score 2-0 St. Louis. And Dean, so far on this day, as we go to the bottom of the 4th, Dean pitching well. After 3, he's allowed 2 hits with 1 walk, and he struck out 6. As Roy Campanella steps up, he struck out his first time up. Campanella D-rated against the A-rated Dean. Here's the pitch from Dean. Dean into the windup and the pitch. Campanella with a ground ball to third. Pepper Martin vacuums it up, fires it over to first for out number 1 as he gets Campanella about 2 strides. And that brings up Gil Hodges. Hodges on the day singled his first time up. Can he keep it up? Here's the pitch to Hodges. And he strikes out Hodges. Hodges goes down swinging for out number 2. And the Seventh, is that the seventh strikeout for Dean? It is. We're only 4 innings in, and Paul Dean has struck out 7 as Jackie Robinson steps to the plate. Robinson, his first time out, grounded out to short. Jackie Robinson batting from the C rating. Here's the pitch to Robinson. And he strikes him out. That roll of 1. And that's the 8th strikeout for Dean. It's 3 up and 3 down. And we go to the 5th with St. Louis up still 2-0 over the Brooklyn Dodgers. And Bill Delancey coming to the plate. Delancey will be batting from the B rating. He does have A power, so he's got a pretty good bat as Erskine wants to be careful. Here's the pitch from Erskine. It's a defensive check on the left fielder, Amoros. Amoros, defensively, C-rated. He will break well on the ball. He's got to get on his bicycle a little bit, but he takes it off the top of his shoe tops as Delancey hit one opposite field, but Amoros settles underneath it after a sprint over for the F7 putout. And out number 1, and that'll bring up Paul Dean. Paul Dean wanting to do what his counterpart did his last time up, and that's single. Dean steps in, pitch from Erskine. And he will just line it to short. Reese, the ever alert Reese, just stabs it out of the air for the L6 putout. And out number 2. And that'll bring back to the plate Pepper Martin. What has Martin done on the day? He's 0 for 2, grounding out both times. Once to third and once to first. So he's spraying the ball around the infield, but can he get it out of the infield? Pepper Martin batting from the C rating with B power. Here's the pitch. And that will go to Martin's power column, that B5 in the power column. He doubles as he hits it in to the alley between Amoros and Snyder in left center field. And he is standing on second before Amoros can get it back in. So that's a double with 2 outs. Runner now in scoring position as Jack Rothrock steps to the plate. Rothrock 1 for 2 on the day as he reached on a walk. Actually, that would be one. That wouldn't be considered that. It would be 0 for 1, but reached on a walk. As Rothrock steps in. Rothrock is a switch hitter, so he'll be batting from his B rating. Here is the pitch. And it goes to his card once again. It goes to the batter's card. That B9 is a single plus. So he hits it deep enough, and Martin is sprinting around with that A speed. It gets to Furillo in right field, and Furillo just tosses it into second. He knows he doesn't have a shot to get Martin as he wants to hold Rothrock at first. So it's now 3-0 St. Louis. 2 outs, runner on first. Rothrock with good speed, but with 2 outs, he will remain on first. He's not going to attempt to steal. As Frankie Frisch comes up, batting from the B rating. Here's the pitch to Frisch. And again, it's going to go to the batter's card. And it's hit sharply to Hodges. Hodges has to dive to get the ball as it was breaking down the right field line. Erskine sprints over. Hodges from his knees flips over to Erskine for the 3-1 putout and out number 3, but not before another run comes across in that inning for a 3-0 St. Louis lead as we go to the bottom of the fifth. And Sandy Amoros stepping up to the plate. Amoros, B-rated. Amoros, his first time up, went down swinging as Paul Dean has struck out 8 after just 4 innings. As Amoros steps in, batting from the B rating. Here is the pitch from Dean. This time, there'll be a control check on Dean. That batter control of 6. He strikes him out. Amoros goes down swinging with the breaking ball from Dean, and Amoros well ahead of it for strikeout number 9 for Paul Dean. That'll bring up Carl Furillo. Furillo batting from the C rating. And Furillo on the day flew out to center field. Here is the pitch from Dean. It's a defensive check on the right fielder Rothrock. Rothrock's defense is a B, but that roll of 11 may be trouble, and it is not. He makes the play. If he would have been C-rated, that would have been a single, but he is able to get to it as he breaks well on the ball and makes a diving catch to rob Furillo of a single, possibly a double, as he makes the play in right field for out number 2, and that'll bring Erskine back to the plate. And this is one of those things. Do I go ahead and pitch Erskine? Yeah, and I hate to pull anybody to 5th. So he's going to swing away. Here's the pitch to Erskine. He singled his last time up, so maybe he can keep it up. Here's the pitch. Not this time, as that will be the 10th K dialed up for Paul Dean, as Erskine just watches that one blow by him for out number 3, and the 10th strikeout recorded by Paul Dean. Now we go into the 6th. This will be Erskine's last inning to pitch before we bring in anyone. And I'm glad I went ahead and let him swing away, because it wouldn't have mattered who was batting. That roll of 2 would have struck out anybody. So Joe Medwick now stepping to the plate for the Cardinals. Medwick on the day is 1 for 2 with a single, his first time out. Medwick again, B-rated with A power. Medwick steps in. Erskine with the pitch. It's going to be a defensive check on Erskine. Erskine gets a hot shot right back at him. Makes the play over to first for the 1-3 put out, and a good defensive play by the pitcher for out number 1. That'll bring Ripper Collins back to the plate. Collins batting from the A rating. Here's the pitch. And it will go to Ripper Collins, who rips one into right field as he blows it by Gillum at second. Furillo fields the hot ground ball, tosses it back in, as Ripper Collins is now safely on first base with 1 out. Infield in a halfway depth. Collins, though, with poor speed, will not be trying to steal, so they're hoping to turn 2 as they're at double play depth. As Kiddo Davis now steps to the plate, batting from the D rating. Davis, can he get something to hit? Here's the pitch from Erskine. He indeed does. But that D5 is a slow ground ball hit to Reese at short. Reese's only play is to get the force at second. So we have a fielder's choice on the 6-4 put out. And so 2 outs. Kiddo Davis at first, And Leo DeRocher stepping to the plate, batting from the D column, the D rating, excuse me, is DeRocher. Davis will be running on contact. Here is the pitch. And DeRocher indeed hits it lazily into left field. Short fly ball. Omeros will make this play easy. Del Monte, can of corn. On the F7 put out. And out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 6th with our scores 3 for St. Louis, nothing for Brooklyn. As we go into the bottom of the 6th, Paul Dean still pitching well on the afternoon. Through 5 innings, he's allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, and has struck out 10. So Dean pitching well. Can Gillum change that as he's A-rated? Gillum looking to get something to hit as Dean goes into the windup and the pitch. And he strikes him out. He dials up his 11th strikeout as he blows that one by Gillum. That'll bring up Pee Wee Reese. Batting from the D rating, Reese. Here is the pitch. And Reese will get one to swing at. As he hits it sharply to short, DeRocher up with it. Fires it over to first for the 6-3 put out. And out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. And Duke Snyder stepping to the plate. Snyder on the day has struck out twice as Dean has had his number. Can he get the hat trick as Dean goes into the windup and the delivery? And he strikes him out. Dialed up number 12 as Snyder gets the hat trick of strikeouts. His 3rd strikeout of the day. And we go to the 7th, and Erskine is going to be coming out. Who do we want to come in for Brooklyn? As we face, let's look at what our hitters look like. Lefty, and then the pitcher, and then a righty. Then we'll bring in the best pitcher available. Let's see. That's probably going to be Levine. I need to get him. Levine. Or do I want to do Drysdale? Drysdale's fatigued, so we're not going to bring him in. So it's going to be Clem Levine. Levine's a right-hander with B pitching and A controlled, and he can go 2 innings, so we probably can get him to finish out the game for Brooklyn. So in comes Levine, the righty, with B pitching and A control. So Delancey steps in. Bill Delancey on the day is 0 for 2 as he flew out to left field his last time up. Delancey hoping to get into the hit column. Delancey batting from the B rating. B on B. Here's the pitch from Levine. That he leaves one hanging. Delancey drops it in to right field, right in front of Furillo as he hits one that Furillo cannot get to as it drops in front of his feet for a leadoff single from Bill Delancey. And Levine comes in and allows a hit immediately. That'll bring Dean up with a runner on first, and Dean still pitching well. We're going to try to lay down a bunt as Levine goes into the windup. Dean squares the bunt. And it is a successful bunt as it's put out in front of the plate. Campanella jumps up on it, is able to field it, but cannot get Delancey as Dean lays down a good bunt. Delancey is breaking hard for second. Safe. Great sacrifice bunt from Dean to move Delancey over to second. That'll bring up Pepper Martin. Martin on the day doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Can he double in a run this time, as Delancey takes a slight lead off of second. Pepper Martin batting from the C rating. Here is the pitch. That B7 will go to the batter's card. And he hits one to first. Not hit hard enough for Hodges to make any kind of play to third. So it will move Delancey over to third, put him 90 feet away with 2 outs. Jack Rothrock coming to the plate. Rothrock singled and drove in a run his last time up. 1 for 3 on the day. Batting from the B rating. Here's the pitch from Levine. That's going to be a control check. And that A5 will be a strikeout as he strikes out Rothrock to close out the inning, leaving Delancey stranded on third with out number 3. We now go to the bottom of the 7th, and Roy Campanella stepping it to the plate. This will be the last inning that Dean is rated A, but he will stay in because he is not going to get to a D, not with the way the game's going right now. So I'm going to keep him in. Roy Campanella stepping to the plate, rated D. Campanella on the day is 0 for 2, grounded out to third his last time up. Campanella against Dean. Here's the pitch. And Campanella hits it sharply at DeRocher at short. DeRocher boots it, but is able to pick it up. And the slow-running Campanella cannot beat out the throw by DeRocher as he fires it over for the 6-3 putout. But he only gets him by a step as Campanella was hustling, but just doesn't have the speed. Now that'll bring Gil Hodges to the plate, batting from the C rating. Hodges on the day is 1 for 2, struck out his last time up as Dean looks to get another baker's dozen if he can get a strikeout here. As he goes into the windup, Hodges digs in and he strikes him out. I must be a prophet because that's number 13 as he struck out his 13th batter of the day for out number 2, and that'll bring up Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson batting from the C rating. Robinson on the day is hitless, struck out his last time up. Robinson steps in, Dean into the windup and the pitch, and Robinson will get one to hit. And that's going to be a single into left field. Medwick up with it quickly, gets it to second to hold the swift-footed Robinson on first, excuse me. Yeah, you don't run to third when you hit. So that's got Robinson on first. The speedy Robinson will not be trying to steal with 2 outs as Sandy Almiroz comes to the plate, batting from the B rating. Can they get something going here and make this game interesting as Almiroz steps in? Here is the pitch. And again, Almiroz gets one to hit. Fly ball into right field. He takes Rothrock back deep to the wall. But Rothrock makes the leaping catch for the F9 putout. And out number 3, as that scoring opportunity went by the wayside, now we go to the 8th. Brooklyn trailing 3-0 as Clem Levine back on the mound for the Dodgers. And that'll bring up Frankie Frisch batting from the B rating. B on B rating. Here's the pitch from Levine. And that will go to the batter's card. And that's a single by Frisch as he hits one sharply into right field. Blows it by Hodges, rolling to Frillo in right field. Frillo up with it quickly. Fires it back in, but not before it's a leadoff single by Frankie Frisch. And a speedy Frisch with no outs and with a speed as Levine goes into the windup. He breaks for second, and he slides in safely. That roller 12, he slides in, but Campanella doesn't even attempt to throw it down to second, as it was just too good of a break by Frisch. So now with no outs and a runner on second, Joe Medwick steps up. The righty Medwick will drop to a B rating, but Medwick on the day is 1 for 3. He singled his first time out and has grounded out his last 2 plate appearances. As Levine goes into the windup, Medwick steps in. And, of course, Medwick has that B rating, that B11 is his power column. He has A power. Joe Medwick has taken a hanging curveball by Clem Levine, and he has ripped it into the left field seats as Sandy Almiroz just watches it go over his head for a 2-run scoring home run by Joe Medwick. This game is now 5-0 St. Louis as Clem Levine. The next run that comes across for Levine, his rating will drop to a C. As Ripper Collins now steps up as he is clapping his hands after that rip by Joe Medwick, high-fives him as Medwick goes back to the dugout to the jubilation of his teammates. And Ripper Collins stepping up. Collins batting from the A rating. Collins on the day is 2 for 3 and has driven in 2 runs. Here's the pitch to Collins as Levine just threw down the rosin bag in disgust after allowing that 2-run shot. Here's the pitch to Collins. And Collins, again, he gets one to hit. Collins, deep fly ball into left field. Almiroz settles underneath it. He took it back to the warning track as Levine has to take a sigh of relief as he thought that one was going to be out of here as well. But it's just a long out for out number 1 on the F7 put out by Sandy Almiroz. Now bring up Kiddo Davis. Davis batting from the D rating. Davis on this afternoon's play is hitless. He did reach on an error his first time up. Here's the pitch to Davis. And that's going to be a control check. And he strikes out Davis. Sets him down for out number 2. That'll bring up Leo DeRocher batting from the D rating as Levine goes into the windup. Here is the pitch. That's just a ground ball to third. Jackie Robinson makes the play easily. Gets DeRocher by about a couple steps on the 5-3 put out and out number 3. Now we go to the bottom of the 8th. Paul Dean now pitching from the B rating as Carl Furillo steps in. And Furillo batting from the C rating. Here's the pitch to Furillo. And Furillo rips one in to left field for a leadoff single. And we got something going here in the bottom of the 8th as it's a leadoff single by Carl Furillo. And that's going to bring up Clem Levine. And Levine is going to be pitch hit 4. That's good. Those 2 innings is all he's going to go for. So I need to bring in a good left-hander. I mean a left-handed batter. And I'm not sure I got one. Looks like Dale Mitchell is probably my best choice. He's going to be C-rated with C power as Mitchell comes in. Be batting from the C rating instead of the D, so I got an improvement there, but not a great one. As Dean wind up and the pitch, hoping to get a double play out of this one. That C5 is just a shallow fly ball hit into left field. Medwick settles underneath it. Furillo will have to remain on first with a routine fly ball into left field. Now that brings Jim Gillum back to the plate, batting from the A rating. Gillum on the day is hitless. He struck out his last 2 times up. Here's the pitch from Dean. And he strikes him out. That is another strikeout recorded by Dean. How many is that on the day, you ask? 14. He struck out 14 and only walked 1 and allowed 4 hits. As Pee Wee Reese now steps to the plate. The D-rated Reese here in the 8th. Is there anyone I can bring in that can possibly help our cause? Taking a beating. Let's see. Not particularly. No. We're going to leave Reese in. As Reese steps in, Furillo will be running on contact. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a defensive check on the first baseman. It's hit sharply to Collins. Collins stabs it, grabs it, tosses to Dean covering the bag for the 3-1 put out, and that is out number 3, and we go to the 9th. With St. Louis up 5-0, and Brooklyn just can't get anything going as Clem Labine is now out. And to close out this game for the Dodgers as the lefty Delancey comes up. Who do I want to bring in? Who's my best pitcher? To try to not allow anything else to come across. Let's bring in Roebuck. Roebuck's a B-rated pitcher with A control, so he's going to close out this game for Brooklyn. Hopefully not allow any more runs to come across. Ed Roebuck can go 2 innings with B pitching and A control. As Delancey steps in. Delancey. B on B. Here's the pitch to Delancey. It's going to be a defensive check on the shortstop Reese. Reese makes that play easily. That one, there's no reason even to look. He makes the play over to first for the 6-3 put out and out number 1. That brings up Paul Dean. Dean's just going to swing away. He's going to close out this game. Hope to pitch a complete game shutout, but we'll see. Here's a pitch from Roebuck. And it's a fly ball into center field. Duke Snyder settles underneath it for out number 2. That's going to bring Pepper Martin to the plate. Martin on the day doubled. He's 1 for 3 with a double. Or is that 1 for 4 actually? Excuse me. So Pepper Martin stepping in. Martin batting from the C rating. Here's the pitch to Martin. It's a control check. that A10. He will walk him as he tried to paint the corners, but missed it for ball 4. So Martin on with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Jack Rothrock. Rothrock will be batting for the B rating. Rothrock on the day. Struck out his last time up. So let's see if he can get something going here to get more runs across. Roebuck into the windup and the pitch. And he does indeed get something to hit. Rothrock again. Hitting for the B rating. That B9 as a single. Plus, it'll drive Martin all the way over to third. So with 2 outs now, as Rothrock hit that one to the wall in right center field, Frillo got it back in quickly, but not before Pepper Martin makes his way to third. So with 2 outs, we have runners on the corners, and Frankie Frisch stepping back to the plate. Frisch, his last time up, singled, and he's 1 for 4 on the day. So can he drive in a run here, as he will be batting from the B rating? So it's a B on B matchup as Roebuck goes into the windup, hoping to pitch himself out of this jam. Here's the pitch. It's a control check, and he strikes out Frisch to close out the 9th and leave 2 stranded. But we go to the bottom of the 9th with St. Louis up 5-0 on the Brooklyn Dodgers, as Dean has pitched to Jim. But in the 9th, he will be C rated as Duke Snyder steps to the plate. Duke Snyder batting from the B rating. He struck out 3 times. What is it, the golden sombrero or something like that, if he strike out 4 times? I doubt he will from the C column, but he still has A control, so if it goes to the control column. Dean into the windup. That's C5. We'll go to the batter's card. Snyder again lifts it into right field. Jack Rothrock settles underneath it, waves Davis off for the F9 put out. And out number 1. So Brooklyn down to the last 2 outs to try to get something going here in this game. Campanella stepping in. Here's the pitch to Campanella. Campanella batting from the D rating. Grounds it to third. Pepper Martin scoops it up, fires it over to first, and Campanella is out for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. And Paul Dean 1 out away from a complete game shutout of the Brooklyn Dodgers as Gil Hodges steps to the plate. Hodges on the day is singled and has struck out his last two times up as Dean faces down Hodges batting for the C rating. Here's the pitch to Hodges. And that's going to the batter's card. Hodges grounds it to third. Pepper Martin up with it once again. Tosses it over to Collins, and he gets Hodges by a couple strides for the 5-3 putout. And that is our game here in Brooklyn as Paul Dean pitched to Jim a 5-0 shutout, allowing only 4 hits. Carl Erskine took the loss, and of course Paul Dean is your MVP of the game. Let's take a look at the box score on this 5-0 shutout. Let's just go ahead and look at what Paul Dean did on the day. That's his second win. He pitched 9 innings, allowed 4 hits, walked 1, and struck out 14, facing 32 batters. What an outing for Paul Dean. The Dodgers just couldn't get Dean figured out on the day. They did leave 5 on base. They are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. If you look at the batting, and let me change our view here where you can see this a little bit better. Let me get a little larger there to look at. Again, Dean's day was just outstanding. But if you look at the hitting for the Cardinals, it could have been worse because they left 7 runners on base, left on base. They did go 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position, which is pretty good. We did have a home run by Joe Medwick in the 3rd. His 3rd is in the 8th inning off of Levine with 1 out. So just a good overall game for the St. Louis Cardinals, the Gas House Gang, as they moved to 6-5 and they dropped the Brooklyn Dodgers to 6-5. So that's going to be our game for today. Our remaining games, which we'll be playing in the days to come, we'll see the 69 New York Mets against the 79 Pittsburgh Pirates, the 4-6 Mets against the 6-4 Pirates. Then we'll have the 4-6 New York Yankees from 1956 against the 7-3 72 Oakland A's. And then the 6-4 Boston Red Sox will face the 2-8 Hilldale Club. And that's our game from Ebbetts Field today. And that's going to be all from me today. I hope you have a great day. Soli Deo Glory. Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed this game, be sure to like and share. Hit the subscribe button. Would love to have you so I continue my channel. And hit the notification bell so you can know when I drop